a couple of thoughts. Here's my story that I have about you. One is that you're starting a business, or you're in a business. So all the new jobs in the future will come from you. Okay? Maybe that's true. The idea that people need a resume, they need to interview well, the idea that you have to go to college in order to make $1 million in your career, which is what the billboards tell us in this city, right? Make $1 million, go to college, so we're marketing college, that if you don't graduate college, you don't have a chance. That's the message there. I think that's an illusion. People that graduate college make more money because they started with more money. And this notion of the college degree is essential, I think, is a thing of the past. And so the thought that most big companies I know are shrinking as fast as they can. Some of you are probably graduates of those big companies. So congratulations, you've now chosen your freedom, and you get to live with the anxiety that choice brings with it. If you're starting your own business, have your own business, I know that you're awake most nights between 2:30 and 4:15 in the morning.
Yes.
And you should be. Okay, that's the hour of the wolf. You should lie there and be anxious about things over which you have no control. Like children, grandchildren, stepchildren, and significant others. Okay? And your business. And so what you've chosen is your freedom and the anxiety that goes with it. What you've given up is safety. But if you live a safe life, it means you surrendered sovereignty over yourself and your future. So there's these two lines. One says safety, the other says freedom. The safety line is long. And when you get to the front, somebody says, would you like me to offer you a safe and predictable future? And you say, yes, what will it cost me? And the answer is, it costs you your sovereignty. And anytime somebody holds you safe, they want something from you. And what they want from you is your willingness to surrender your own capacities, your own dreams. Most people working for large companies are more afraid now than they were in 1964 when I started working. And so the fact that you've chosen this, even to show up today, means something. It means that you've chosen some freedom. You're willing to live with the anxiety and uncertainty that carries with it. And you can't soften that in any way. And you're the future. And in some ways, you start a small business in order to support the idea of starting businesses. And to me, they're the best classroom in the world. I wish most kids were forced into working with you in your businesses as almost an alternative to school. Because the school path is only suitable for certain people. And a lot of our kids, especially in the city, aren't going to make it through the school. And so you're the alternative. So that's why, in addition to Peg's request, that's why I like being with you today. It's because you have it in you to start something. So that's one thought. Now, if that story isn't true about you, you'll have to tell me different. The other thought in starting is that none of us is self-made. That everybody who's successful kind of thinks I did it, but most of us won the lottery. We're born in this country for one reason. Most of you started your business with money somewhat from friends and family. And so, in some sense, you're here because you have a support system around. The people that don't have that support system don't have a shot. If you say, who are the vulnerable in this city, who are the homeless in this city, who are the marginal, they're no different than us, they just don't have a support system. And so in some ways, for your business to work, you have to keep building this community of people that have your success in their hearts and in their minds. And I think it's just a wonderful learning space. I started my business when I was 26, and I was really nervous for about 8 to 9 years. After a while, you just go down to nervous. So that's the second thought, is that you're here because of other people who paid a price in support of you. And so you might say building a business is a community building activity. And that's the second thought. The third thought is that all businesses are spaces where relationships get built. In this culture, we think if you're right, you can be successful. We think if you're smart, you can be successful. Basically, running a business is a relationship-building activity. And this culture doesn't value relatedness. It considers it a luxury. It says, well, relationships lead to something. They're instrumental. And so we call it networking. And I hate the thought that people are networking me. And instead you say, well, maybe the purpose of the business is to create a whole network of relationships that you will find meaningful. And so anything that builds relationships is good for business. And the heart of building relationships is, in some sense, your own vulnerability, your own fallibility. We have this illusion that you should be confident and optimistic and upbeat and all of this kind of thing, which mostly alienates people. And so the other thought is that if you're in the business of building a network of relationships, it grows out of vulnerability, it grows out of your willingness to request, to not know, to ask questions. All learning is a social phenomenon, so the nice idea here is that you're committed to each other's success. You're familiar with the Grameen Bank in Bangladesh. So this guy says, I got to do something about poverty in my country. And so he did micro-lending, but he gave, after a while, he only loaned to groups of people. And he loaned mostly to women, because women in poor countries do most of the work. Women in rich countries also do most of the work. But he decided that if he loaned the money to a team of 4 or 5 women and told them, for you 4 to get your money, you have to help the first one be successful enough to pay back the loan. And so now he had a group of 5 women who were committed to each other's success. And I think that's probably the basic idea you have between what you're doing here, is to say if you got 4 or 5 people committed to each other's success, you have a shot. You have a shot at it. Which goes against the notion of competition. So this culture thinks competition is good for you. I don't believe that anymore. I think competition alienates us from each other. The idea that it's a free market, there's nothing free about this marketplace. And so in some ways, you create a group of people who are committed to each other's success, and the more you're in the same business, the more successful you'll be. Which means that when you market and sell, you're never marketing against anybody, but you're marketing in support of a future that you're promising your customer. And so I think that's the other nice thing about this, is that all of my success is dependent on the social network that I have around me, especially people in the same business. So I don't know, let me stop. What kind of businesses are you up to? Pardon?
All different kinds, I think.
Well, I know they're all different. I just like to hear what they are.
Consulting.
Consulting about what?
Manufacturing primarily.
Manufacturing consulting. Come on, this is the participation.
Attorney.
Wealth management.
Wealth management. Got it. Attorney.
Creative services.
Creative services.
Business coaching.
Business coaching.
I want to create a